everyone. Welcome to the first ever episode of the ePro cast. My name is Eugenio Prokopi, aka the Big E, and in this podcast, you'll find everything you need and get the right knowledge to get launched or transition to the business of sports. The main purpose behind this podcast is that sport is my passion, and I want to help out those who are thinking of starting a career or launching a business in sports industry. I'm working on improving my solo speech right now, which, as you can see, but the upcoming episodes are going to be more natural conversations with professionals in the industry and also entrepreneurs in the business of sport. We will dig deep into their experience. They will share their success stories as well as the challenges and failures that they have experienced in the course of their career to put you in the best place to succeed. I believe that kindness is a key to a healthier society, and therefore we're all in this together and should help each other grow. I call this episode, as you see in the title, the beginning of something new, because I wanted to share my story. I'm a true believer that we all have a story to share, and I would love to hear them from you as well. I was born and raised in Republic of Moldova, a small 3 million people country. At the age of 7, I was introduced, or you can call it, I was convinced to join the rugby team. Actually, kudos to my dad, who has been a coach all his life and educated me teamwork environment. I used to play as scrum half, so I was a small guy. And at the age of 12, older generation guys, I asked my dad if I can play with them. And he said no, but he offered me the whistle instead. That was the beginning of something new. I didn't know what I'm doing and maybe used that whistle 2, 3, or 4 times in the course of an hour, which I don't really recommend doing that right now. Between 12 and 16, I was playing and refereeing at the same time. And I was very close actually to quit refereeing because in Eastern Europe, the games were very brutal in the past, and especially at the men's games level. I experienced a lot of games where the players would want to play their opponents and not the game. And the most of them would end up with fights. But I looked positive at this, and all those moments helped me manage the game better and be more calm and focused on the game and in general in real life. At the age of 16, I completely finished my playing career and started to focus on refereeing after I was provided once in a lifetime opportunity like officiating at major tournaments like Amsterdam Sevens, Dubai Sevens, and many others, which gave me a huge opportunity to travel and to see the world as well as being involved in rugby. It's the places where I have made lifelong friendships. Actually, a shout out to all my referees, the friends out there. In the context of myself being a huge fan of the game of sevens. And it was the times when Moldova qualified for the World Seven Series in 2008 and the game was booming. In 2018, I became an international rugby referee representing Moldova in the competition organized by Rugby Europe. Also 2 years ago, I completed the World Rugby Educators course and became one of the youngest educators in sport. After noticing that there is a lack of development of the new match officials in my region in Eastern Europe, and here I'm in countries like Moldova, Russia, Ukraine, Turkey, and so on, and I thought it was the moment I should give back to the rugby community. On course in these 2 years, I've held multiple courses in Turkey, Moldova, Ukraine, and Spain. One of my main principles in life is actually to give way more than you take. And that's why I started to enjoy dedicating my time to volunteer. It doesn't matter if that's a children's games on a weekend or a major event like UEFA Champions League final in Madrid, 2019, Chicago Marathon, and many others. My friends and everyone who knows me are aware of my addictions to long distance running. And I started back in 2015. And also by the end of next year, so 2016, I completed my first marathon in Frankfurt. A big dream of mine in running is to complete the World Major Marathon Series. So far, I completed 4 out of 6 races. So those being Tokyo, Chicago, New York, and Berlin, with 2 more races to go, and namely London and Boston. I love the process of getting there, so I really looking forward to every single training in order to get better and faster especially for that Boston qualifying. But getting back to the business of sports, being from Eastern Europe, where sports is perceived as a hobby usually, I had in my head the same thing until I made some research and found out that sports industry actually is one of the fastest growing in the world. But how I could get into the game, a 24-year-old boy with finance degree, I was self-aware I didn't really see myself a finance person in the future, and it wasn't making me happy. So I found this awesome master's. So I decided to pursue the MBA in sports management program at Escuela Universitaria Real Madrid. During that time, I had my eyes opened to the real world of sports management and had a chance to meet and work with awesome peers on multiple projects. And I'm so grateful to everyone who I've met along the journey. Also, let me know if you are interested to find out more about it, and I will make an episode about that experience. In addition to that, we had opportunities to meet big names in sports business and also participate in multiple networking events. Just as a disclaimer, I'm not saying by any means that you need a degree to get into the sports industry. Not at all. It just what worked for me at that moment. All this fast forward to nowadays where I'm working as a business development manager for a sports tech company called Nothing But Net, or short version NBN23, where our mission is to digitize the sports, and right away we're doing that in basketball and in swimming. And we're also helping and providing technology to making it more fun and also more engaging. In the upcoming events, I'll have awesome people joining me and give you very deep insights about how they transitioned or started in sports industry, and they will share their challenges that they have faced. The backgrounds will differ from episode to episode, starting from marketing and sponsorship and ending with event broadcasting and operations of major events. So add this podcast to your listen list as you will be provided with huge value. You can get in touch with me by social media. All of those will be listed in the description, and let me know what subjects would you like us to touch base if you have any questions, and we'll definitely make sure we'll answer them here. As in the end of the podcast, I really appreciate everyone who is taking the time to leave a written review to give context to other people why this is a worthwhile podcast. Even more fun, because I really think we all love a cosign or a shout out or a little awareness. We'll highlight them in the upcoming events. See ya.